Online vigil for Julian Assange with Kim.com, the Gateway pundits Cassandra Fairbank, Susie Dawson, and others. Live video feed. I didn't see it, but we'll look. By Jim Hoff for the GatewayPundit.com. Internet entrepreneur Kim.com joined Susie Dawson and a host of other supporters of Julian Assange and WikiLeaks in an online vigil event. As is being widely reported, WikiLeaks editor-in-chief Julian Assange has had his human right to freely communicate restricted at the Ecuadorian embassy, in which he is arbitrarily detained. This includes the ability for him to receive visitors. I mean, isn't it just disgusting? The Ecuadorian embassy has cut off internet access for Julian Assange this morning. It was actually last night. I saw it. It was late there. More on the event here. The Gateway pundits Cassandra Fairbanks is also taking part in the discussion tonight. His friends, supporters, and loved ones find this unacceptable and are coming together to demand Julian's access to them be immediately restored. The vigil has been going on for several hours now. Kim.com is currently resting and will join the conversation shortly. Let's just take a quick listen. You know, this is 9 hours and...
Hi everyone and welcome to this special emergency #Reconnect Julian stream. We are meeting here with all of you today because we are gravely concerned for Julian Assange. His right to communicate, his human right to communicate. We are meeting.
Isn't it disgraceful that they would cut his internet and not allow him visitors? I mean, I think it's like barbaric.
I'll just start again. We are gravely concerned for
region in their country that wants to have independence. And just recently, in a very dirty way, have they arrested the president of the Catalonia region in Germany. And Julian has been tweeting about that. Julian has explained to the world the history of something similar happening in 1940 when Germany took a previous leader of Catalonia under arrest, handed him over to Spain, and then have him executed in Spain. And I think Julian is making a lot of people aware about the real risk of this happening again, because Spain will almost, it seems, do anything in their power to stop Catalonia from having their way. And if, in fact, this extradition takes place from Germany to Spain, it would be a grave injustice, because even in Germany, you don't have a law that matches the kind of laws that Spain is using to try and extradite this man. And just like Julian has always done in the past, he is making a stand for what's right, for a man who has done nothing wrong, a man who has not asked for any kind of violence, a man who has not committed any crime, a man who purely makes his position known and fights for his people who asked him to be their leader and to fight for their independence. And if that is not allowed, if we can't do that, and you know, right now in Spanish jails, a lot of these Catalonian leaders are rotting and waiting, and you know, there's no progress with their freedom, and they remain locked up. You know, we need to ask ourselves, how is this okay? And how can the Spanish government now bully Ecuador into silencing Julian Assange simply because he lets us know about these atrocities that are happening in Spain, where Spanish police is violent towards protesters that are peacefully trying to let everyone in Spain and around the world know that they would like to decide their own fate and their own destiny and be independent. You know, when someone gets silenced over his attempt to bring justice to the world, which is really what Julian does. He doesn't pick sides. He doesn't pick the US or Russia. He doesn't pick between left or right. All he cares about is that we all have our equal human rights, that we fight against this inequality between the 1% and the powerful and everybody else, you know? Julian is a man of principle like I've never ever seen anywhere in history. I mean, this guy has gone through years of pain and stuck to his principles. You know, he could have easily said, okay, I'm done with WikiLeaks, and he would have just, you know, let him be. Instead, he chose this path because he saw that the world is changing and is shifting in a way that we the people, are losing control. You know, the powerful enact new laws to make us weaker and weaker. They spy on us. They, you know, they do a propaganda war on our minds, where they, you know, have the media on their side and the movie makers on their side to sell us a story that isn't the reality, that is just fake, because they have an agenda that they are pushing. And, you know, Julian is an enemy to those people who just want to play with us, who don't care about us, the 1% that really run things, you know. And if we allow Julian's voice to be silent, and if we don't stand up for him, well, who else is out there? You know, you can't trust the mainstream media anymore. There is hardly any investigative journalism. The CIA and numerous global spy agencies have so-called non-official agents, which are journalists. They pay thousands and thousands of journalists around the world to spin their narrative, to sell you wars, to sell you lies. And, you know, obviously they...
And if they don't like what you're saying, they shut you off with a flip of a switch.
Don't like Julian Assange because he's getting in their way. You know, he is telling us things that no one else does.
That's true.
And whenever he receives a document, you know, he has to, you know, every single time he has to make a decision if this is, you know, if he can publish it, if this is, you know, somehow critical to some people's safety or lives. So he has a huge responsibility. And in all this time that Julian Assange and WikiLeaks have worked for you, the public,
yes,
they have not betrayed you. They have never gotten anything wrong. And if you want to pay him back for this honesty and his principles and him providing us with the truth, then now is the time. This is the time. You know, we need to stop the silencing of Julian Assange. We need to get Julian reconnected. We need to get the Ecuadorian government to allow Julian to have visitors again. And we need to let them know day in and day out, as long as it takes, that we are here fighting for Julian, that we are not going to give up on this atrocity that is happening right now. We're not going to give up on Julian's human right to communicate with us and with the world, and to continue his important work. No matter what the US government says or the spy agencies say, this is too important for us. We're going to lose, an institution for truth if we don't fight for Julian now. And that's exactly what the US government wants. And that's exactly what Spain wants right now, because Julian is an inconvenience to them. And that is exactly why Ecuador is doing this right now. They have been bullied and they have given in. And now we need to remind them that they have to get back onto the path that they have been on for the last few years, helping Julian. They need to continue to help Julian, and they need to protect him from this bullying. And we need to support them and Julian against the bullies.
He's right. He's right. It is disgusting that they would shut off his communications and not allow him visitors. I mean, you can literally go crazy being so isolated. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And again, thank you so much for watching.